Hello, my friends. Welcome to this week's episode of the Forte Catholic Podcast. I'm so glad that you are here. Father Anthony Sciarappa joins me today. We have a very fun conversation. The bulk of today is wrestling themed because Father Anthony has turned me into a wrestling fan somehow. We talk about that, and then we think about who some of the best wrestlers in from our faith would be, and we have a very fun time with that. We hope that you enjoyed today's show. We recorded this on Labor Day. We hope that you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend and have a great rest of your week. If you like today's episode, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss anything else from our channel. A couple of notes because the rest of the show is going to be commercialless. So I'm going to just tell you a couple of things now. We have a brand new series on our YouTube channel called Catholic Prayers, where I'm introducing some of my favorite prayers, some that you may already know, some that you don't. So make sure that you check out some of those videos as well. We also just did our review of Catholic comedian Jen Fulweiler's new comedy special, which is also up on YouTube. You can find all of that on our YouTube channel today. Again, enjoy today's show. Have some fun with us. And I hope that you guys are having a great week. Enjoy. Hello there. And welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and that is my favorite priest, Father Anthony Scaramucci Sciarappa. Hello, buddy.
Hi, friend. Happy Labor Day.
Every time I tell anybody, I'm like, oh, yeah, my friend. And like, oh, where is he? I'm like, oh, he's a diocesan priest in the Diocese of Pittsburgh. And they're like, what? I'm like, don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's all very fine. We are recording this on Labor Day, which I don't understand. What is Labor Day? Why are we not doing anything today?
I guess is it ironically named? It's a day named Labor Day where you're not supposed to labor and law stuff is closed. And it's for reasons. I don't know the history of it. All I know is that I need to get my car's oil changed today. It's very hard to find a place that's open.
I'm not even lying to you. The number one thing that I have to accomplish today after this is getting my transmission fluid changed. And the most annoying thing about holidays like this that I don't understand is that only half of the organizations decide to close, and I don't know which ones they are and which ones they aren't, and the internet doesn't help. It's like the one day that the internet is like, yeah, we don't know. Just drive over there, figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I call these people, and they're open, which I said I had two questions, and one, he was on the phone, so like I assume you're open. And then I give him the, make and model of my car, like, can you change the oil for this because it needs synthetic or whatever? I've gone to places, and they've said no. And he goes, we won't know until you get here. And I just gave you the information. I gave you the information from my car. Why can't you go figure that out?
Well, probably because they were like, well, we don't change oil on cars that don't have a back window. That's probably
okay. That's all fixed now. My car's back is fixed. Yeah.
You became an adult. This is it. You didn't do the other thing that most men do to become adults. So this was your rite of passage. You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
3.5 months later.
It was ridiculous. My car, which was busted up, got fixed right before I left for vacation. So I just kept using the rental car to drive down. Then I got back, got my new car.
I was about to say, I rode in your car for briefly, just right down the road to restaurants because we're both too lazy to walk, a quarter mile to go to dinner. And it was real loud driving with you just had like a, plastic wrap on the back of your car. And it was like, and every time a car went by, I'm like, I swear they're inside of our car.
Yeah. So it was a lot of anxiety driving that thing around. But yeah, now we're good. It's all fixed.
Every time I see a little turning lane where the motorcycle man who hit you, every time I see one of those, I look to my right and I try to see if there's somebody there. I'm not even joking with you, Father Tony. On Saturday, I was Uber driving for the A&M Notre Dame game, and I was about to turn right. And so I looked solely because you exist. Because you exist. And what do I see to my right? A man going very quickly on a bike. Not a motorbike, like a motorcycle, but on an actual bike. And he gave me a very stern look, but did not run into the back of my car. So
that's good. I'm glad for both of you.
You are changing lives out here.
Jeez.
The only thing that I know about Labor Day that matters to me at all is that the real hot dog eating contest is happening today. So they always do the Nathan's one on 4th of July, but this year it was a sham. because they
Yes.
didn't let the best people come into it. But today, in like the moment we are done recording this, we are going to watch Joey Chestnut and Kubiyachi. I'm sure that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two best hot dog eaters ever. We're gonna watch them go at it live on Netflix, and I can't wait. So, in honor of that, I didn't have any hot dogs in the house, but I'm late to this recording because this is a breakfast hot dog. It is
Nice.
a sausage wrapped in bread. We call it kolaches here. I hear that they call them, pierogies or something weird up where you are, but here in Texas, we call it a kolache.
It's definitely not a pierogi.
Well, it's very yummy. Happy Labor Day to all of you. Cheers.
It looks delicious. While
so
you're
good.
chewing, I get annoyed with these holidays because it's usually not a holiday for me. And people are like, "Oh, what are you doing Labor Day?" Like, I've got mass, I've got other things to do. Now, luckily, after all this, and I get my oil changed, I do get to spend a little time with my family, and then it's a big day because this is my priest league for fantasy football, the draft day party. So I will be doing that. So I will get a little bit of free time today, which is nice.
Yeah, that sounds like a great Labor Day.
Yeah,
honestly. Right? You talk to me for a little bit, you get that out of the way, and then the rest of the day you're getting stuff done. You're hanging with family, you're hanging with friends. You started that by saying I'm not going to have a Labor Day, and you're like you're having the most Labor Day.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just cranky today because I had to say mass. I just wanted to sleep in.
I had to serve the spoiled. Lord today.
Yeah. Oh, they have music for the mass. It's like, oh, come on, it's daily mass. Why are we doing music?
Okay. I know people get all up in arms. I just mentioned 4th of July. People get up in arms and argue on the internet every year like it's going to solve something about, special songs at Mass for 4th of July. And obviously there's no readings about America, but, like we try to, for other feast days, Marian feast day, we read Marian stuff, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I always find it hilarious. I think the last one, the last time I was required to go to a mass I didn't want to go to, was all of them. But really on Thursday, the last required Thursday we had to go. It was one of those Marian feast days, and it was about the Assumption. Mm-hmm. And I love when it's like the best day for Protestants. It's the best day for Protestants because they're always like, where's that story in the Bible? And we're always like, hey, we're going to read stories that definitely don't talk about Mary's Assumption during Mass.
I mean, yeah. There's no direct scriptural account of Mary's Assumption, but
so we're just like, will the announcement of the birth of Jesus Christ work?
say we're gonna do some sort of Marian one. I mean, that's why she was assumed into heaven,
So, was there anything special about Labor Day today, other than like you said you had music? Like, was there anything special for Labor Day? Just because I don't know what Labor Day is, I don't know what the church does for it. I didn't go to church today.
So there are prayers for Independence Day in the Missal, so you can do that. But you could probably finagle something if you wanted to.
Wait, I can do what?
Finagle.
No, that's not a word.
Yeah, it is. Finagle.
No. You added an extra letter in there. You added a second N, and there's not one there, I promise.
Finagle. Anyway.
No.
So I just say we just did. So we only had one. We normally have 2 daily masses. We only had one. Add some music to it. I just did a regular mass. I just preached on the gospel. Didn't do anything fancy. If you really wanted to, you could figure something out. But it was just a nice mass. A little extra music.
Well, I'm happy for you. Mm-hmm. You mentioned this. My mouth is still stuffed with this morning hot dog. You mentioned your vacation. How'd that go? Yeah. I was really happy for you to go because you're a priest. And like you said, you work on normal holidays, so you needed a week off. How'd that go?
That was great. Went down to Hilton Head with the family. I had a good vacation. My 2-year-old niece, I think, had the best vacation. She had ice cream every day, went to the beach, got to ride a pony, went on a pirate adventure, got all of the attention in the world. So she had the best vacation, and I had a good vacation. It was nice.
If you are a very good uncle. I've seen you in action. You're a very good uncle. If you were a great uncle, not like old, but if you were a tremendous uncle, I would have pictures of you doing all of that stuff that you just said Indy did with you right behind her. Like we would have photographic evidence of you on a pirate adventure, you eating ice cream in the background of the pictures. Like you would just be, it wouldn't be a picture of you. It would be a picture of her and you're just there in the background for all of them.
Yeah, no, I think her mama did most of that stuff with her. I did throw her around in the pool a bit, and we hung out and stuff like that. Definitely ate ice cream as well. But the more exciting things, those were adventures with the parents.
Well, I'm happy for you. So all of us know, the life of a priest, where a lot of us are always like, what do they do all the time? What's their life look like? One of the most relatable things that ever happened with me and you, where I was like, he's just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Was you went on vacation. And, 2 to 3 days before vacation, you've always been pretty vocal about how you don't want to work on those days. That's a thing, right? And that's very relatable.
Yeah.
The most relatable was you came back, you took a break for a week, and I was like, look, I'm going to leave him alone. We have to book this, but I'm going to leave him alone on his vacation. And I waited a few days after you came back. It's like, hey, can we record? And you're like, I don't wanna. I vacation. And I'm like, yes, it's over. You have to get back to it. No, I don't wanna. And you know what else I don't want to do? Anything. I was like, oh, he's one of us.
It's true. But now I'm back in the swing of things. We got a wedding coming up. I got funerals this week. Actually, it's going to be super fun because now the pastor's taking his vacation. So I'm going to be all alone. So I'll be doing all kinds of work. So
you don't realize the transition you made. I'm going to do weddings. I'm going to do funerals. That'll be super fun. I'm like, did you kill them? Is this a celebration for you?
No. Not these people. Not this week.
Not this week. Got it. That would be too suspicious. You got to wait until nobody's watching. All right. Well, I did something a few weeks ago that I had been waiting to talk to you here on the show about. Because my saga into being a wrestling fan has played out on this show over the last year. Because it was about 13 months ago, because it was about a year ago when it happened. A month ago. We watched SummerSlam at your brother's house when I was visiting Pittsburgh with all the cool Pittsburgh Catholics. If you weren't there and you live in Pittsburgh, I don't think you're cool. So, which I just realized was meaner than it sounded because it was only men invited. So sorry, ladies. I apologize to the ladies. I don't apologize to any Pittsburgh Catholic men. So we watched that there, and I was, I'm not going to rehash it all, but I was mixed on it. I was excited that y'all were excited, but I was like, I still don't get it, right? But then over the course of the next few months, you kept evangelizing me. I started watching more stuff, and I got my family involved because that's the other thing. It's I enjoyed watching it with 35 other dudes that were enjoying it, but I was like, I'm not going to watch it by myself. It's just not something I'm going to do. I'm not that crazy, right? So me and my wife and kids started watching all the big events, right? Well, we watched, I guess this was our third big event to watch together as a family, and it was SummerSlam this year. So it was the same event that you and I watched last year. And two things happened. One, we've talked, I knew what a heel turn was, where somebody that's good turns bad, which is what I did in my life around the year of our Lord 2020. I was a pretty good person, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, I'm going to try to be the Joker now, So
yes.
I understand that turn. It's the other turn that I'm still working on, and I didn't even know what it was called. So when a bad person turns good, what is that called?
That's a face turn.
A face turn. Well,
so heels are bad guys, faces are good guys.
Most people would think that if I was facing away from them and then I turned back and they saw my face, they'd be like, oh no, he's a bad guy. He looks
bad. I don't know exactly. It all comes from Carney culture is where those terms come from. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but yeah.
We understand that as well as we understand Labor Day. So we know what it means, and what we do about it, but not where it came from.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We were watching SummerSlam as a family, and two things happened. One, the first face turn, really the first change that ever worked for me. I've seen some guys that were good go bad, but I didn't have the history of it, so I didn't really care. And the first time that it worked on me was there's this. I thought he was German. I guess he's Austrian. What's the big Austrian guy's name?
Gunther.
Yeah, who is my youngest daughter, my 6-year-old Felicity. That's her favorite. Every time she sees a large bald man on television, she's like, "Dad, Gunther," and I'm like, "No," but I it's very, very sweet, right? That they're in it. They're all having their favorites. Well, when I watched him at SummerSlam last year with you, I did not like this man. He did the thing that I still hate the most in all of wrestling is when they just take turns like backhand slapping each other in the chest. It looks so painful. Like, they can do things to brace when they fall on each other and stuff. You can't fake being slapped as hard as you can in the open chest. And I'm just like, it's so painful. And like their whole chest is turning red. So I don't like him just because of that, right?
And that's like his thing.
Right, yeah. He's so big. It was just I didn't like him. And the way he was acting, like he was clearly acting like a bad guy. Right?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Flash forward to a year later, and he's fighting somebody who, like, I wasn't rooting for the guy, rooting against him, but I was kind of rooting for him because I was going against Gunther. Well, this guy, who I guess was doing the opposite, I guess he was more of a good guy, but he started talking crap about Gunther's, like, wife or girlfriend or fiance, like the woman in his life, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, crap. Am I starting to root for Gunther? Like, you can't talk about somebody's woman like that. And then Gunther won, and he got teary-eyed, and I got teary-eyed. I started crying for a man that I hated. And I'm like, I understand what just happened, but I don't know how you did it. How did you just make me cry for a man that I hate? I don't understand.
That's the beauty of wrestling, baby.
Yeah. The second thing that really worked is, it's been long enough now that we can spoil it, right? But I guess it was WrestleMania. WrestleMania was when the big what's the guy's name? From Moana. What's his name?
Oh, The Rock. You mean is from Moana? But are you thinking Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns. They're all
Samoans. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, careful.
Yeah, they're not big. They can't beat me up. They're not large human beings at all.
They're like the biggest human beings on the
planet. They ate a lot of those Samoan cookies. That's how they got so large.
That's where. Yeah. That's well.
Roman Reigns finally lost. He hadn't lost in like 87 years, and then he finally lost, and the guy that beat him, the guy that looks like he dumps his head in bleach every morning. What's his name?
Yeah, Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. He finally won. He's been the reigning champ for the last few months or whatever.
Yeah,
and so Cody's now fighting, this new Samoan guy who thinks he's in charge, and he thinks he's the new, what do they call him? The head of the table?
Tribal chief. He took over Roman Reigns' family, basically.
Without asking, without fighting Roman. Just kind of like, no. This is mine now.
Exactly.
Everyone hated him. It was very funny. He always put up the acknowledge me sign, and everyone booed. I'm like, well, I guess we are acknowledging him. Every time he puts his finger up, we are acknowledging that he is putting his finger up by booing him into eternity.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you explain what happened next? So they're fighting. Their friends come, all their friends come, and then it's just those two fighting, and Cody's about to lose, and then
Roman Reigns, his music hits, the crowd pops, they go nuts because the original tribal chief, the OTC, has returned, and he just stomps to the ring, punches Solo Sikoa in the face, and lets Cody Rhodes win. And you can tell it's great because he doesn't like Cody Rhodes. He doesn't want him to win, but he's got to take care of business first. He's got to settle things with his family first. How every family settles a feud, you just punch people in the face until it's over. So that's what he did, and everyone lost their minds because even though people he was a bad guy for a long time, having him come back, everyone loved it. It was the best.
It was the closest I think I'll see to the second coming in my entire actual life. It felt that big. It felt like, he's here! The moment we've all been waiting for! The moment that was prophesied! He has returned to defeat the evil one! He did
it! Yes. It was great. Yeah.
It was very good. So, and Cody had been getting beaten on for 45 minutes. So Roman absolutely could have walked into that ring and probably hit him twice. And won and taken back, his thing. But he was like, there was this mutual respect between the two of them. Mm-hmm, and Roman's like, this is my second coming, but also I'll be back. They're gonna fight again. Absolutely. It was just such this cool moment where I realized what was happening before my family did.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you've done to me. What you have done to me, sir.
Yes.
They're fighting. And, earlier in the fight, two of Cody's guys two of the Samoan guys come in to fight. So two of Cody's friends come in to fight. And then they get all knocked out, and it's back to just the two of them. And I'm like, there's only one person left that can help. There's only one person left that could come in and change how this fight is going. And right whenever it went, va-doom, even before his music, I was like, I have goosebumps now. I was like, he's back. He's back.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony, I didn't care about, I had been making fun of you about being a wrestling fan for our entire lives. I've been making fun of all these other wrestling nerds my entire life. I cried whenever Roman stepped back onto the thing. I'm like, he's back! And he's being so nice to Cody. I cried like the whole time. It was great. My family was like, what's happening? Why are you crying, you freaking weirdo? And I was like,
because your tribal chief returned.
He did.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It was great.
It's a beautiful thing.
I started thinking, what can we do on this show to honor my new wrestling fandom? Because I'm all in. I thought I was all in before this. I thought I was all in during the Royal Rumble. I'm all in now. I wasn't crying during the Royal Rumble. I was like, this is fun. And now I'm like, so we're going to do something. We're going to do two things.
Okay.
Because this game has evolved. I had the original idea. We will end with the original idea because I think typically whenever we do quote unquote comedy on this show, it's spur of the moment. I'm going to make you go spur of the moment.
Oh, no.
But I have prepared something and I'm going to set it up to fail. I think it might be the funniest thing I've ever written down. I think I've come up with some funny things on the spot. I'm setting everyone up to be disappointed. I am very proud of the work that I have done. So we'll get to that eventually. But for right now, after I created the original game, I saw a tweet or Instagram post or something where these two parents, whenever they were getting home, they have little kids. They have, I think they said a 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And everybody has these wireless speakers now, right? Like the Alexa speakers or whatever in their house. So whenever, the 3-year-old's at home, either with the mom or the dad, and what the mom and dad started doing is they started picking a specific entrance song, like wrestlers have a specific entrance song. Yeah. And whenever they parked in the driveway or garage or whatever they have, right, they would connect to the home speaker and they would play their entrance music.
It's so cool.
And the daughter would know that they were there and start freaking out and going to find them or whatever. So the dad had a song, the mom had a song. It was just incredible. So I would like to do this. So we're going to start with you and me, and we can help each other out, right? Because you know this sphere a little bit better than we do. So if you, Father Anthony, I want you to set the terms. Like, everybody knows you're a priest, right? Are we doing this at mass? Are we doing this at like youth group? Are we doing this at a retreat? Like, because here's the question. So we're going to do intro song. What is your signature move? We have to give it a name. What is your signature wrestling move? And we have to give it a name. You have to explain what the move would be and give it a name. And then who are the people that are on your team, right? So they have all these like allegiances in wrestling. Who are the people that would come in and fight for you if Roman got in the ring with you, right? And then who are your ops? Who are the bad guys to you? Who are you fighting against? So, intro song, signature move, who's on your team, and who are your ops? So where are we at? Because like I think it's going to be really different if we're doing mass and we're doing like RCIA night that you lead or something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the entrance music, I think like if I'm doing an event, if I'm walking to the youth group or teaching RCIA or going to like the men's group or whatever, this is when my entrance music plays, I think. Or maybe when like at the beginning of mass for us, they announce right before mass starts who is the celebrant. So we could do the music there. Yeah, right?
That would be awesome. Just a little clip, just to ruin everybody's prayer time. Just, hey, we're praying before mass. It's John Cena.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's see. Entrance music. I'm gonna go with AC/DC's "Back in Black."
Oh, very fitting.
Right. Yeah. Great start to the song. Everything. I think that make everybody pop. It's Father Anthony's coming in. Let's see. I'm doing this off the top of the dome here. My finishing move. My finishing move it would be called Fraternal Correction. That's what I do. And what would it be? Let's see. For a priest move, I think it would be. I'm just gonna go. It's kind of cliche. I'm gonna go with the rock bottom, where you grab the guy on the side, you lift him up, slam him down. It's a simple move, but it's almost like it's one thing. It's almost like a side hug. And that's very Christian, the Christian side hug. But then you pick him up and you throw him on the ground. So it's both like embracing the sinner and punishing the sinner at the same time. So that's Fraternal Correction. I'm stealing it off the rock. I know.
I'm thinking of some good things. I'm not sure if I can put it all together, but I think you should start with the prayer of absolution. Like you should give them absolution before you take somebody down.
You can just call them actually the finishing move absolution. That would be
there
great
you go.
too.
There you go.
Absolution.
Yeah. The absolution. So you put your hand up. Like they have to be like down on the ground. You've already kind of beat them up a little bit, and you put your hand up and start saying, "God, the Father of mercies." and then right when you do the sign of the cross with your hand, I'm thinking more like people's elbow. You do the sign of the cross with your hand, and then right when you swipe to the right, you just drop them down, and then to talk crap after they're knocked out, you just look at them right in the face. You say, "You are dust, and to dust you have returned."
Absolutely, all that's great. That's good stuff. Okay, so if I have a group of wrestlers, a team of wrestlers is
who's on your team?
A stable.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna go
like horses.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's just what it's called. But a team, a faction, something like that. So I think this is gonna be interesting because it's gonna be you. It's gonna be Father Harrison. I think, we'll do that because that's what most people who would know anyway from podcasting. Now the question is, I have a question for you. Any team, any stable, eventually there's a betrayal.
Oh yeah,
there's a betrayal and you break up. So who do you think would betray me first?
Oh,
you
me,
or Father Harrison?
Hands down. Me, hands down. Because this has already happened. You would get so popular. I'm on your team. You would get so popular because you're a priest and I'm a lay person. What am I ever going to do? And it annoys me because like there's often stuff that I'm better at than you, and no one cares. Everybody's just like, "Oh, Father Anthony, we love him so much." And like, you're a big guy, but I'm a really big guy. Like I would be better at wrestling than you, right? Yes, but you'd get all the honor and the glory and all this stuff. So eventually, I would 100% betray you. 100%.
And I think it's pretty obvious who my rival is, my arch nemesis. This is after you betray me, then you'll be my arch rival. But before that, it's obviously Father Mike Schmitz.
Oh, yes.
He's the guy. It's obviously Father Mike Schmitz. Right. He's the guy I'm going after. We have the year-long feud going back and forth. There's drama with us both being priests. He's obviously more popular and more handsome than I am. There's jealousy there. You can do a whole storyline with that. Yeah, absolutely. Father Mike Schmitz.
And him in the wrestling ring, like you would be so, because this is how it is in real life, you'd be so mad and angry with him, and he would just be so loving and caring to you. It would be like, you would be fighting and he would never get mad once, and he'd be like, "Brother, why are you doing this?" And just like doing the thing where you would think you'd be holding his head back while he's trying to fight because he's tiny, but he would be doing it to you just out of love. I mean, he was supposed to be Robin in the Batman movie. Like he could probably fight, but he's he's half your size, but he would just lovingly beat you, lovingly,
I'm definitely
he would have to use fraternal correction against you.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm definitely the bad guy in this scenario because Father Mike Schmitz, he's obviously the good guy. He's the face. So I think that's my setup. If you gave me more time, I could do more with it. But that's what I got.
No, this was good. You are very good at stuff like this on the spot. So my intro song would be I've been thinking about this a lot when I go into my cryotherapy, because when I go to cryotherapy, it's very funny. All of my conversations with all the very nice people that work at this cryo place, it feels like I'm in a holy place because I'm like receiving healing, and everyone there is a Christian. Like most of them actively go to my church, and some of the other ones actively go to some other. Like there's Bible verses on the wall. There's their logo accidentally looks like a Star of David. I asked them about it because I walked in. I walked in and like their logo, it's a Star of David in the middle, but then like all the lines from the Star of David like go out further. So they didn't realize it was Star of David. Yeah. But on their board where they had the Bible verses, for the first like 2 weeks that I went there, it was all Old Testament stuff. I'm like, oh, they're like 100% a Jewish business. 100%.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing New Testament verses, and I'm like, wait a minute. So then I had to ask.
Yeah. So like, I don't know a lot, but I know that New Testament.
Yeah. So found out they're all Christian, which was cool because like I didn't know that they were Christian until like a month and a half in, and they had just been treating me very well for a month and a half. I was like, this is a very good way to make a Christian business, right?
Sure.
But I talked to him about church. Like one of the young ladies, her boyfriend is thinking about becoming Catholic, so I invited her to I invited both of them to our foundations class. Like I'm like actively evangelizing in this place, except this is like the 15 minutes that I'm doing like my compression outside, and they're always right there. And it's typically it's just me and the person working, or maybe one other person. So we're talking, right? We're talking about life, faith, whatever. But then when I go into the cryo thing for 3.5 minutes, I'm listening to the angriest rap possible. So like they're getting to see me in both of my sides within 20 minutes, right?
Nice.
Which is very funny. So I've been thinking about this quite a bit. I think what I'm going to go with is this song by DMX. Rest in peace. Did you know who DMX was? You know. I mean, you're super white, but you have to know who he is.
Yeah.
So he has a song, a lesser known song called Lord Give Me a Sign. I think I did a segment on it like 6 years ago, right?
I think, was I on it or was I listening to it? I remember this. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with that one because it's DMX
Beautiful.
who, like, if you know DMX, it's one of his only songs that doesn't cuss incredibly much. He's angry. He says some stuff that, like, I can't believe he got away with. Like, he would never be able to say it today. Like, there's just themes and words and stuff. And I'm just like, oh boy, like this was definitely the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
It's a different time. But Lord Give Me a Sign is him wrestling with, I didn't even mean to add a wrestling connection there. But he could have been a wrestler. Dude was massive. He was in a couple action movies. Awesome. But Lord Give Me a Sign is essentially him struggling with faith. He's like, God, it's been a long time since we've talked. I'm really struggling. I'm trying to essentially fix my life, and I need your help, but I need you to give me a sign, right? And it's just like this very honest wrestling with God from a secular point of view, but like he grew up Christian, right? And like It sounds very, very genuine. Like he's very genuinely like, God, I hadn't heard from you in a while, but I need you. But I need you to help me. I need you to meet me, halfway, or meet me somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be my song, my entrance song. My signature move. You went the priest route. I think I'm going to go the Pokemon route. I'm going to do the Snorlax Slam, and I'm just going to I'm going to just crawl up to the top of the ropes. Yep. I'm still agile enough to climb up there, and then just like jump full body weight, full stomach right onto them. That I'm doing the Snorlax Slam, and then I'll get up and I'll put my hands like I'm sleeping. I'll like make them go night night kind of thing, right? Snorlax. Okay.
Beautiful.
Who's on my team? I didn't get this far. Who's on my team and who are my ops? I'm not sure. I need some help.
I mean, who are your co-hosts? Are your co-hosts on your team? What do you think?
I would hope so. It would just be like, could you? It's very hard for me to imagine that Catherine or Allison would be in a wrestling ring. Like, we knew that Allison boxed, and like. I'm sure she could get behind. She could get behind the idea, but like, I don't know. I can't see her. She's just she's feisty, but she's very kind. I could just see her. I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to turn on her. She is an actor, so maybe she could do it, right? Catherine. I mean, she could do like her bar classes that we talked about a couple weeks ago. She could be like she's very flexible. She could kick you really hard, that sort of thing, right? I just don't know if I want to put them in harm's way. Like if we're fighting Samoans,
sure. Right? There's a little bit of history of father-son team-ups as well. I mean, Chris is he's getting into the sports and doing those things and all that stuff. You take him under your wing, and then eventually he could betray you. That'd be a great storyline that happens in wrestling as well.
it does, yeah. I like that. I think it would take a little bit more. You know what I could do?
What
is I could have you called it a stable, right?
Yes.
Well, we call our runners in our 400 runners, we call them horses. Yeah. So I could have the horses in the stable, and I could bring in like all of my best male track athletes, and
there you go.
Either some of my current or some of my former. I have former athletes, dude. Like last week, one of my former athletes who was a sprinter, state champ in the 100, the 200, and the 4x1, sprinter. Him and 3 friends ran a 100-mile team race the other day. He ran 25 miles. The human body is not meant to run a marathon, which is like 23-ish miles. He ran 25. Somebody pointed out, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else that I was telling this story, but like the marathon is literally named after a guy who ran that amount of race and died. Like we're not meant to. He was like the perfect Greek Greek Roman specimen that we have like statues of. Like, nah, He died. So I have guys doing that. I have former athletes doing triathlons. I think I would have the stable boys or the horses in the stable, something like that. I think
Something like that.
because I could keep rotating them in, and I'm constantly training them up and bringing them up onto the big screen.
Nice.
I think I like that.
Yeah,
I think I like
that works. That's great.
I think eventually, because I worked with Father Mike Schmitz, I think while I was on your team, I probably would have fought him. But I think I probably go over to his.
Side with him. Yeah, that's great. Love it.
We already decided I betrayed you.
Yeah.
You called him out and started fighting him. So I think eventually we team up and we produce and edit a plan. Like I edited Catechism here to defeat you and Father Harrison, and I think that's probably what happens.
Beautiful, yeah. Book it.
Okay, here's the part that I planned, and I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to give you some time by going through mine. I am very proud of this, but I would like to do this with some biblical characters. I would like for you to take Jesus. I would like for us to start with Jesus. We're going to do the same thing. Signature song, signature move, who is on his team, and who are his ops.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So you're taking Jesus. I have already taken St. Peter. And I worked on this. So even if everyone hates this, you need to tell me you're proud of me or I'll, I don't know, hit my head through the wall. Okay. St. Peter. Could you imagine, the Sanhedrin is arguing and they're saying, hey, we should probably kill this guy. We should, what should we do about this upstart, Jesus followers group? And then all of a sudden, while the Sanhedrin is meeting, you just hear on speakers that miraculously showed up 2,000 years ago, I want to rock! I want to rock! And Peter walks in. It would be the greatest thing that I've ever imagined in my entire life. So that's his opening hymn, is I Want to Rock by Twisted Sister. He has two moves. One is just called the Rock Slam. You cannonball into their chest off the ropes. He is doing a full-on, what do they call it when you jump off the diving? A cannonball. He's doing a cannonball onto people's chests because he's simulating being an actual rock and just launching himself onto people's chests. He also has a signature move called the Pope-a-dope. So you've heard of rope-a-dope, right? Yes. So what essentially a rope-a-dope is like Muhammad Ali was the king of this. He gets on the ropes and he makes you feel like you're in control of the situation, right? And he's just on the ropes, dodging, and then right when you're unawares, you think you have him beat, he just uppercuts you to the chin and you're absolutely knocked out. And we're calling that the Pope-a-dope. So he's able to take these punches because the gates of hell and these other wrestlers cannot prevail against him. He takes the punches and all of a sudden knocks him out. So those are his two signature moves. His teammates are, first of all, obviously the Sons of Thunder. Like, you can't go better than having the Sons of Thunder. Like, just you can make up their whole entrance and move set immediately. Yeah. Like they're absolutely the these incredible people in the apostles. Also, we have some similar themes here. His teammate is the Rock, because why not? Like Peter his name is literally Rock. The Rock comes and helps him. But then his ops initially are the Jewish leadership. So like the Sanhedrin, the Pharisees, and the Sadducees, right? And Paul, because we know that Peter and Paul kind of wrestle with some things throughout the book of Acts. But then also, the Rock and the Sons of Thunder are helping Paul defeat the Jewish leadership, the Sanhedrin, the Pharisees, Sadducees. But then because the Rock is not Jewish like Peter and the Sons of Thunder, because he's fighting a lot of Jewish people on the internet, the Rock starts being called anti-Semitic, because why is he fighting all of these Jews all of a sudden? So then the Rock is he gets called an anti-Semite online, and he turns and he starts fighting the Rock, which is what we all wanted eventually. It's the Rock versus the Rock, Volume 1, and that's going to be WrestleMania's headline.
WrestleMania main event. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh man. Okay. So I was thinking while you were talking. Beautiful, by the way. Beautiful. You're booking this really well. Really, that's going to draw a lot of money. Love it.
There's only before I let you start on Jesus, I'll let you know at the end. There's only one correct opening hymn for Jesus, opening song for Jesus.
Okay,
please continue.
I'm not gonna get it right because I'm thinking of other people's wrestling songs.
That's fine.
So, okay, first of all, Jesus' opening music. There's actually an opening theme for this guy, Eric Bischoff. He used to be a manager, but it starts off, I'm back and better than ever. And he just goes, it's just opening thing. So that's the first thing I thought of from wrestling. There's a move called a flying crucifix slam. That would be Jesus.
Really? That's a real move?
Yes. Yeah. So a crucifix slam is you kind of get on the shoulders of someone else. Google it. Google flying crucifix slam. It looks super cool. And that would be Jesus's finishing move, obviously. His, his stable, I think, you already picked the Sons of Thunder, which was my first idea. But I think for this, we'll have Judas is going to be one of his teammates because you got to have that, the betrayal later on. We'll have Judas.
He gives a little kiss on the cheek to everybody before he knocks them out.
Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking of Lazarus. And then Martha
kill him.
And Mary. Yeah. Because he hung out at their house all the time. They were like good friends. So that's his stable. He's obviously fighting Satan and various other Pharisees, Sadducees, Roman soldiers, but Satan is his obvious main.
Oh, man. I just thought of the best offshoot thing. It's like, because like Jesus is going to need help in the battle. And then, let's say one of these female demons gets in. So Martha absolutely steps up and she gets busy, right? Martha absolutely gets up. But Mary's just sitting over there praying. So, there's even some turmoil within your stable. The next fight, it's going to be Mary versus Martha. And they're going to be fighting over, do I be active or do I pray? Do I be active? Do I sit at the feet of Jesus? So we've already got our next fight as well.
Good. See, you got a booker's mind. You got the pencil. You're doing great work. Now, I will say, just in case anyone was unaware of this is all horribly theologically problematic, but we're just going to go with it anyway. I think that's the group. Did I miss anything? I think I got all the things.
I don't think so.
What?
But the song.
What's your song?
You know what I'm going to say. You have to know what I'm going to say. There's only one song that would be appropriate.
Hallelujah chorus. You could do
and he will raise you up on eagles wings. But it's like full hardcore rock with like electric guitars and 3 bass guitars playing at the same time. And there's like a huge breakdown with it'd be great.
How did I miss it?
The hard rock version of Eagles Wings. It'd be great. It'd be great.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect. It's perfect.
We're going to finish doing, we're going to do one more. We're going to finish doing one more together. Let's pick one other biblical character or saint. I'm going to let you pick them and we're going to work on this together. Let's see what we can come up with.
Oh, King David. I think he'd be a great professional wrestler. Yeah.
I think so too. He's been up and coming on the lower market. He's been fighting lions and bears and geese. And now, we know who his ops. Let's start there. We know his ops are. His ops are King Saul and Goliath. Those are his ops.
Yeah.
Also, he uses scissors a lot after the fight. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into him using scissors after the fight. No. But do you have a song for him? What do we think?
What's a good? Let's say if we're doing like a hymn. Or a song.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I think it has to be one of his psalms about suffering. Okay. About other people suffering, not him, but he's about to bring the suffering to other people. Yeah. So we're gonna have to twist it somehow to where it's like, my God, why have you forsaken me? But it's from the perspective of the people that are already in the ring that he's coming in for. Something along those lines.
There's cursing psalms. We could find a cursing psalm and say it to rock music. Absolutely. About wanting your God to reap vengeance on your enemies. That's all throughout the Psalms. We can find that.
Yeah. Something along those lines. It probably
weirdly enough, we don't use a lot of the cursing Psalms as Catholic hymns, which I know you've addressed in the past as well.
I have addressed this in the past. Yeah, it was a very fun little project. What was it called? Unused worship songs. Because I wrote worship hymns to Psalms and other passages that absolutely have never had a hymn about them because they're terrifying. So. Mm-hmm. King David. So we've got his ops, I think.
Okay, yeah. No, it's because like it'd be the slingshot, right? And there are there's wrestling moves that have the word slingshot. Like you could do like there's a slingshot spear that this one guy does, Johnny Gargano. So basically he's on the outside of the ring, but on the ropes. He pulls himself back and then uses the momentum of the ropes to spear himself forward and tackle the guy. I think that would be a great slingshot move for King David to go.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I was thinking more of like where he I've seen them a lot where they run full speed and they like put their back into the ropes and like let them stuff slingshot. So similar idea. Too. That's what I was thinking. Where he like slams somebody. So we're thinking very similarly there. On the song, I was going to say I think there is some history with like, isn't there one guy who wrote his own theme music? I think that would be what David had to do. That's why we can't find the song. Isn't there one guy? I think you were telling me that.
Yeah, some of the guy, Joe Hendry. He's on the Independents, but a little bit in WWE. He's all over the place. Say his name and he appears. He's a musician and he'll like write songs about his enemies and do parodies as well. He also wrote his own theme song, which is hilarious. Yes, so King David would be definitely that. There's a history of wrestlers who are also musicians and use music in their promos and stuff. Definitely what King David would do. That's in wrestling all the place. Yeah.
His stable. I mean, first it has to be Jonathan, right? Because Jonathan was so loyal. That like he went up against his own father's wishes because his father wanted David killed, and Jonathan went out to warn him and say, "Hey, go. I'll deal with my dad." That sort of thing. Like I think he might be. We've been talking about all these betrayals. Jonathan would be the one that would absolutely never betray him.
Yeah.
Side note: every time I hear the word Jonathan, I know you're not as big of a Marvel fan as me.
Correct.
Have you seen the video where they're asking all of the Thor like all the I guess it was one of the Avengers cast. They're asking them how to pronounce Thor's hammer. Have you seen this video?
No, I haven't seen this. No.
So like they ask the lady that plays the Wasp, like how do you how do you pronounce Thor's hammer? She's like Mjolnir, and they ask like the older Ant-Man, how do you pronounce Thor's hammer? And he's like, I don't care. And then they ask Paul Rudd, and he says, Jonathan. It's one of the funniest videos. Like that constantly plays in my head, and like this story of David is consistently ruined for me because here's Jonathan, this beautiful male friendship, and every time I hear the word Jonathan, I think of Paul Rudd saying that is the name of Thor's hammer. To me, Jonathan. When if you don't know, it's Mjolnir. So Mjolnir, Jonathan, not often mistaken for each other.
Yeah. There's like a J in that word. It's weird. Norse people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
In Jonathan? Yeah, there is a J.
Oh, no. Also that. Yeah, sure.
Any other friends? Whole armies, apparently?
You could do something with Absalom, his son who betrayed him. You could do something like that. They wouldn't be so maybe afterwards, storyline with all that. You could do all that for sure. Oh, who was the original husband of Bathsheba? What was his name?
That's what I was thinking of. The general.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name either.
I
have
Uriah, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Uriah?
I had Iroh in my head. I'm like, that's Avatar.
That's
the different. Yeah. Uriah. You're right.
Yeah, Uriah the Hittite. Yep.
Uriah. He's not really in the stable or the ops. He's just like, hey, can you go start this fight for me? And like he lets Uriah get beat up for 10 minutes. He's like, all right, he's tired out. I'm coming in. That's what he's doing. And he walks in with Bathsheba on his arm.
Oh, what a heel.
Incredible. Oh, and then what's the guy's name? Paul Heyman? Is that so
the manager, the big guy, yeah.
The manager. So he has to be the prophet. Who's the prophet with David that makes him confess all of his sins?
Oh, it's not Samuel. It's is it Nathan, the prophet, who makes him
Nathan?
confess his
I
sins?
think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pictured Nathan as Paul Heyman walking
Paul
in.
Heyman, he's Jewish. It works. Yeah,
being
absolutely.
like, David, you must repent. You can't keep using Uriah like this. And he's holding him. I get because he's usually holding up the red peppers. I don't know what they are for the tribal chief. It would have to be like a rosary or something. You must repent. You must repent.
There we go.
This is very fun. I was looking forward to this. Mm-hmm. We scheduled to do this on Labor Day because I wanted to get an episode out tomorrow so everybody can listen to it. You very graciously did it, and I was like, well, I'm going to give him a treat, and we're going to have a whole wrestling episode.
It was great for me. Yeah, it was great for me. So
we have one final topic that it's kind of under the theme of it's two stories but one theme. Mm-hmm. Two things that I kind of think that I struggle with, and I'm not really sure how I'm doing on these because it's one of those like maybe blind spots, right? But two topics. One, I went to the Astros game with my dad yesterday, and this guy named Yuli Gurriel was on the Astros for like the last I don't know, 8-ish years. Like he's been on the team. The Astros have made the American League Championship Series the last 8 years. He's been the first baseman throughout the whole time, right? He won 2 World Series with us. Just an incredible guy. Well, he was getting older. He's in his late 30s, which is old for, professional sports people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Astros made the difficult decision in the offseason to let him go. Like his contract was over. They let him go because they were signing this other really big name to play first base. It's like, thank you, we love you, but like, it's time to move on, which happens with older players, right? Well, the Astros, fast forward 6 months, we had the worst start that we could possibly have. At the first half of the season, we were, in the dregs of the league, and then we cut Jose Abreu, who was the first baseman that we signed to replace this hero of the city, and he was terrible. He's one of the worst players we've ever had. We were paying him like $70 million. We cut him midway through the season. From the day we cut him, we've been the best team in baseball. We went from 10 games behind in our division to 5 games ahead. We're the 4th best team in the American League after having the worst start that we've had since we were like the worst team in the league. So I go to the game yesterday. Yuli Gurriel, who's the guy that got replaced, right? He got cut by us, and none of the pro teams picked him up because he's old, right?
Yeah.
But he's been playing in the minor leagues all season and batting over 300. If you know anything about baseball, if you're batting 300, really there's like, I think 10-ish people in the majors batting over 300 this year. Like it's a hard feat to do. He's been doing that in the minors. So a major league team finally wants him, and they call him up, and it's the Kansas City Royals. Well, guess who the Astros were playing at home yesterday?
Ooh, drama.
The Kansas City Royals. So we brought back, dude. It was an incredible day. So this is his first game in the majors this year. His first game in the majors since he was a Houston Astro, a season or two ago. And when they announced the lineups and that he's the starting first baseman. Yeah. I got goosebumps. They played a 3-minute tribute video for him on the Jumbotron. And I've got goosebumps, man. I watched it. I was crying. This tribute video for this guy who, a few months ago probably thought he was never going to be on a major league team again. Yeah. His first game back, he's playing in a stadium where he won 2 World Series championships. They play the thing. The whole Astros team comes out of the dugout, gives him a standing ovation. The whole crowd is giving him a standing ovation. That's so when good. He comes up to bat, he's playing for the opposing team. The Astros are battling for playoff seeding and berths and whatever, right? We want to win this game. We need to win this game. Yuli comes up to bat for the first time. Everyone gives him a standing ovation. I think he gets out the first time. He comes up to bat a second time, gets a standing ovation. He comes up to bat the third time, and we're winning 4-2 in a late inning. It was like 6th or 7th inning. We're winning 4-2. There's guys on second and third, and he's up to bat. Oh, wow. He gets a hit, brings in a run, scores it, makes it a closer game. He's on first base because he's older and it's a close game. It's towards the end of the game. He gets substituted for with a pinch runner. So he's running off the field after just scoring against us. Another and the loudest standing ovation. The whole crowd stood up and gave a standing ovation to a guy who just scored a run on us. And I was like, there were 2 things. One, like, just probably I'm just imagining where he was in his headspace over the last, 6 or 8 months. Like he was a superstar and a champion. And then he's been playing in the minor leagues, which just has to be a rough transition. And then, you never really know, like, oh, I'm going to go back. How's this going to go? And like, it literally couldn't have gone any better. People treated him so well. But the thing that I was thinking about, I was like, why is this, whenever something hits me emotionally, I'm like, why is this hitting me emotionally so much? Right. And I think there's this assumption, and I'm interested in your perspective about this. I think there's this assumption that people that work in ministry, so like myself, other people that work in ministry, I think there's this assumption by the community that other people are telling us we're doing a good job, so I'm not going to do it. But that's what everyone does. Like, I don't get complimented often, right? Which is an odd thing to say out loud, and I understand that, right? But it's this weird thing that I've been struggling with of like, I almost never know where I stand with people because it takes a special moment for people to say, hey, you're doing a good job, thank you, right? It's like, I think the only time that I get like complimented and like, hey, you're doing a good job is like at the end of our foundations course there's maybe like 2 or 3 people that, everybody says thank you, but there's 2 or 3 people that come up and like have a specific, like heartfelt thank you. Right. And that means the world to me, because I'm not going to get that in my life until 5 months later when 2 or 3 more come. Right.
Yeah.
It's similar with coaching. It's similar with your podcasting. It's similar with giving a talk. Like, it's so rare. And like, I had one the other day. I went and led like a day retreat for a Catholic school up in Midland, Texas. About 6.5 hour drive. And I essentially gave like a half day, 3/4 day retreat for the teachers and staff of the school. And I've never done an event where I got more compliments and thank yous. They were just so genuine and like sharing their affection for just like, we're very thankful that you're here and we really love what we did today. And like, it was almost all of them. Like where usually it's like 1% to 2%. It was like probably 90% came up and said something throughout the day. And I'm just like, it's this weird thing. So I've thought about not talking about it, but I'm just like, I'm not begging for compliments, right? Because that would be weird. But I do think that there is this like understanding of like, oh, they know they're good, or I'm sure somebody else is being nice to them, so I'm not going to be. Have you felt that at all? Is that something that you've seen, or yeah?
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of the weird things with ministry in particular, but also things like parenting. Your job is to give, and even along with that job, especially and just as important, is not to take. Right. So it's not your children's job to care for your emotional well-being when they're little,
right?
Because they can't. It would be wrong for a priest to be like try to get from his people emotional affirmation. That gets very dangerous, right? The job in any kind of ministry and that sort of dynamic is to give, and when you're giving all the time, that can be exhausting. And also, like, it's your job to do these things that are kind of profound, like teaching foundations. You are giving people the faith, that is a profound thing, but it's also a very ordinary thing for you. So that's part of it as well. And I think that, like, for me as a priest, it's a little bit different because people will say nice things to me all the time. But like in my brain, it's like, oh, because I'm the priest. That's what you're supposed to do. Thank you, Father, for the homily, blah, 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 right? So it can be hard to accept that as something more than just politeness, So when those moments of like, no, actually what you do all the time, which you sometimes feel like, and a lot of times in ministry as well, you don't see the fruits of it. You give your talk, you do your thing, you counsel a person, and you don't get to see if that bears fruit or not a lot of the times. Like when you give a talk to a bunch of people at a conference or something, you have no idea how those words affected everybody. And so it can feel like very empty, like you're just giving and giving and giving. And am I even doing any good work? Is it even helping? I don't know. So those moments when someone says, no, you actually did help change my life, and they can do it in a kind of specific way, it's affirming one of the most important things about your own life. Because that's, you don't teach foundations to make big money. Like it's not,
Correct.
You do it because I actually love Jesus. I know Jesus loves me, and I want other people to experience this sort of thing. Right. So yeah, it can be very,
I think honestly, I do it more out of an obligation to serve him, but I understand that
sure,
what you said is probably what I should be doing. But I think it's more of a
on your better days. But
will this forgive my sins?
Yeah, it's like, man, I owe this guy so much.
Yeah,
I better get doing work.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it's just that like kind of daily grind of ministry. Like I said, it's the same thing with like parenting. That you give so much, a lot of times you can feel empty or wonder if what you do matters or not.
And I think that's where I've been, right? And I think the reason that it's been, I don't know, kind of grinding on me a little bit more in the last few months is like there have been moments, or if not days or weeks, that I've been like, should I just give this all up? Is this even worth it? Am I even impacting anybody? Right?
Yeah.
And it's not till I say something like that people are like, no, you're doing really good, and we want to help you, and we want to support you. And I'm just like, that's great, and I'm thankful for that, right? But it's also like, why aren't we doing this for one another? Like I'm experiencing it, so other people have to be, right? Like I'm not the only person, right? So like, essentially, like I watched the Yuli Gurriel thing. And I'm like, this was a very special moment, and I teared up multiple times, and I got goosebumps every single time. Like, this was a special, special moment of telling this man who meant so much to us, thank you. Yeah. But I'm not sure we did it before. Like, he was beloved in the community, but like, I'm not sure he felt beloved the day that he was asked not to come back. And we as the fans, I'm sure his teammates and stuff got to say goodbye, but like, we didn't. Yeah. It was just unceremoniously let go later. And like, it was almost too late. Like, this is the end of his career. And I would imagine he was feeling similar things of like, is this it? Is it done? Am I like, even when, because he was doing well. He was batting 300. Like, he was doing well and nobody wanted him. And I'm like, I just can't imagine, he's a pro. I'm sure he was fine. Right. But like, I can't imagine how that feel like. And it's like, it's almost like what we did yesterday for him was too late. I don't think it was too little. I think we went all out, but it might have been too late, right? And I think I hear so many people who have been in my position before, where they've worked in ministry their whole life, and then they leave to go to work in the secular job field, which I've been thinking about doing, right? And almost every time that somebody good leaves ministry, everybody's like, "Oh, we wish you wouldn't have left. You've been doing such great work, and we would have supported you. We would have helped you out. We would have given you money, all this kind of stuff." And I'm like, I've been asking for 8 years for your support. And like, there are a ton of people who support me. It's the only way I'm able to do this. Right. Yeah, but a lot of the people who I've seen support friends of mine who have left ministry and say, "Oh, we would have helped you out. We would have supported you," didn't. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. Why do we as a people not support one another? And I'm like, I know that I'm probably guilty of this too. Right. I'm probably guilty of it in my marriage, with my kids, with my, I probably don't say thank you enough to like my fellow coaches at track. I know I'm doing. So it's not just like it's quote unquote about me because it's from my perspective, but it's like it's an introspective thing of like, it hurts when I don't get this. So like, where do I not do this for other people too? I think I don't know. I don't know if it's just like we're all just so much in our own world that it's hard for us to look out and see until something big happens, right? Like that thing that the Astros fans needed was the big, like, he's here. He's right there. Like, he's in front of us. What are we going to do about it, right? But like, if he would have just came back for the Kansas City Royals literally the next day, because Houston, yesterday was the last day we were playing. If his first game was today against another team, it would just be another day, right? He wouldn't have gotten that special thing. So I don't know. I've just been kind of wrestling with it.
I think love is an action. You have to. It's something that needs to be expressed or given. And a lot of times we assume like, oh, I love that person. They know that. No, it needs to be not performative, but shown. Otherwise people don't know. That's why even when you're married, like, yes, you've made these vows to each other and everything, but you still have to show that.
That's the old Zig Ziglar quote where he was like, "How often should I tell my wife I love her?" He said, "Before somebody else does."
Right, exactly.
Like, if you haven't told her in 3 weeks and somebody else does, you might be in trouble.
Exactly. That's what it is. It needs to be shown. That's what a loving community does. And sometimes, like, for all the reasons, because we all are stuck in our heads or stuck with our own stuff, a lot of times we miss out, and we can do better.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got.
I'll say that I got into what you were saying this segment, but I've never gone from super enthusiastic in a segment to absolutely not caring when you started talking about baseball after wrestling. It took all of my effort to follow your story. But then once you got to the story, it was good. But like,
you have reached out to me and you've brought me into wrestling. You can listen to me talk about baseball for 6 minutes, please.
I did my best. I'm just saying it was very hard for me because I was like so pumped and so invested. Like, oh, baseball.
Roman Reigns
nice story at the end.
Yeah. Roman Reigns returned to the Astros yesterday. I was going to
say that as well. Yes.
That's very good.
That's the part I got involved in.
Well, I loved the wrestling segment, and we did the next one.
It got good. It got good.
All right. Well, that's our show. I'm Taylor. I'll be back next week. I actually have another recording set for tomorrow, so I actually will be back next week. We're hopefully getting back to a little bit more consistency now that the summer is over. That's Father Anthony Sciarappa. You'll find him doing what here in the next couple of weeks? What are you up to?
Knows?
I don't know.
I'll be running a parish for a week.
That's right.
Pastor gets back.
That's right. Very good.
So everyone be nice and calm. Don't do anything crazy while the boss is away.
and send up a prayer for the priest of that parish, not Father Anthony, for the pastor, so that he can have a good vacation. Because crazy things happen at Father Anthony's parish whenever he's the pastor, whether we pray for it or not. So I'll be back next week. I'll be back in a month. See ya. Thank you guys for watching and listening today. I hope that you enjoyed today's show. If you did, make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. Check out all of our past episodes. We have hundreds of episodes right here on YouTube ready for you to watch today. We also have our A Catholic Perspective series where we look at some of our favorite books, movies, TV shows through the eye of a Catholic. Our most recent one was we did a conversation about Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis's famous book, with David Bates of the Pints with Jack podcast. All of that can be found at youtube.com/ForteCatholic. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. Love you.